guys, for my October 30th DVD update, where I talk about all the DVDs and Blu-rays I've gotten over the past. I'm actually doing this a little quicker than normal, because I had some things I really wanted to talk about on this, and so it's probably been like just about 2 weeks. Some of these I had last time and didn't show, but most of these are new. Now the first one I got is the Jurassic Park Blu-ray set. Now three different versions of this. There's a Steelbook version from Best Buy that has DVDs with it as well, but it was $59, and I didn't want to pay that for it. I was also a little upset too because I really, it's $46. I think I had to have a price match, and that was a big ordeal. But then I was at Fry's today, and so they were selling this exact set for $39. And I didn't even know anywhere had it that cheap. It's not even that cheap online. At least when I, the first week or so. Or the first week. But, it's all three of the films. I really only wanted the first movie. The second movie's okay. I really disliked the third movie. I remember, too, an experience when I saw it in theaters. There was somebody in there talking the whole time. I used to go to this one theater, and there was always this guy and his mom, and they were always there talking over things. But I remember that time I had a big drink, and this was an AMC, and they didn't put the lid on it right, or something happened. And I picked it up, and the whole thing exploded all over me. So I never forgot seeing Jurassic Park 3. I spilled the drink all over my lap, looked like I pissed my pants. I remember I was in the bathroom for a good hour trying to dry off because there was no way to get out of this building without everybody seeing. And there was there was always these cops out front, and it was awful. But that's my experience for Jurassic Park 3. But it actually has a few different extras. A lot of people said the picture quality was poor. I mean, it looked fine to me for the first film. It's got some grain and stuff to it. That's the same with Ghostbusters. Had that same kind of film grain and stuff. The next one I got, going into this, I didn't know what to think. I didn't care too much for Wrong Turn 3. I liked the first two. The third one, I don't know. I didn't do it for me. But the fourth one, I was surprised. I think the fourth one might be, as good as the first and second, if not one of the most interesting of them. I don't know why. I just really like this. It starts with the three killers from the first movie. It's a prequel, and it starts with them in the nut house, and they end up taking the one guy in the nut house ends up getting a bobby pin off this woman who's touring the place to work there. Basically, they end up all escaping. Now, there's a sequence after they escape, which is I don't know, I haven't seen anybody do anything like this in years. It reminded me almost like something you do on a shot-on-video horror movie. I don't know, it's just because it was so over the top and so crazy. Basically, when all the lunatics break out of the nut house, the stuff they're doing and the way they're acting is total, stereotypical when people talk about the nut house and crazy people and stuff. Totally like that. Jumping around, dancing, acting ridiculous. I mean, you wouldn't, I don't know, it was just funny that they did that. But, then it cuts to years later about a group of these kids who are going snowboarding out in the Virginia. It takes place in West Virginia since it's a prequel. It's the same place. But they're going snowboarding. They end up getting turned around and lost. And they end up finding the nut house where the rednecks, or whatever you would call them, are still living. And they end up stumbling into the place, and things go bad. They end up, they go in there, spend the night. When they wake up, all their gear is gone, and they don't, it's basically like that. They're trapped in the building. But there's some really cool kill scenes in this, and there's one scene with fondue, which was very creative and very different. That's the one thing about this movie was they really did work on coming up with some creative deaths. I still have never been a fan since the first movie of the way they made the characters so crazy. And so, I think it would have been creepier if they made the people, just regular, really creepy, cast, like they did with Hills Have Eyes and things like that, and cast real people that are creepy and different. But instead of just sort of doing that over-the-top makeup, that was the thing I never liked, and them all running around going, and all that. I mean, all right. That gets a little weird, and the whole time and that, I'm not going over the top. That's what they're doing. But besides all that, it's actually really worth checking out. Now the next one I got, now this I've been really excited about since I first heard about it, And I like this cover underneath of it better. This one's alright. But it's the More Brains. It's the documentary on Return of the Living Dead. And this the same people that made the Nightmare on Elm Street documentary, which I've never seen that specific one. But in this one, basically it goes over the first film. Basically focuses mostly on the first film. In the features, it does little mini documentaries on the second and third movie. Like I was saying, it's basically it focuses on the first movie as the main documentary. And they got pretty much everybody to come back from the cast. There wasn't really... The only aspect that they didn't cover in the movie, you know, and it's a documentary, but so the one part was the people in the beginning, you know, that were the military guys. The one who was like with the bomb systems and all that kind of stuff that they were talking to, like that was the only part that they didn't cover. And I guess that's because that stuff kind of always was like, didn't stand out too much in the movie. But I know I thought it was really well done. It really follows every aspect of making the film, goes through all the different details. They tell funny stories about the making of the film and the films. I don't know, if you're a fan of Return of the Living Dead like me, it's definitely one to check out. I mean, it's pretty much that's what it is. It goes through the whole making of it. Nothing real specific other than that, but really well done. It's hot in this room again. And I know it's like snowing some places, but this room is hoot. And the next one I'm going to talk about is Grave Encounters. Now this one I had wanted to see for a long time. I actually found out about it at first from the guys that made it, and they told me about it a long time ago. They sent me the trailer, and now I finally it just came out to DVD. Basically the movie though is about basically it's about, you know, those group of those people that would go and investigate, you know, like the ghost hunters and Paranormal State and things like that. And it's basically about a pilot show. I think it's like the 6th episode of the series. It was a series that wasn't picked up, but they were shooting a whole bunch of episodes in hopes the show would get picked up. And they haven't done well so far. They hadn't seen anything. They end up at this insane asylum, and things go really bad. And the thing with me is, you know, ever since the movie Session 9, you know, I always, you know, that was one of those movies that really scared the shit out of me. And there's very few movies that really creep me out. That, The Eye, their original version, with the kid standing over the mom. There's just some movies that really scare the shit out of me. You know, and it's very seldom do I really see a movie that I'm really creeped out. This thing creeped me out so bad, I'm not lying here, so bad I was like creeped, like seriously, like, and I don't know what it was about it, but I think it was because you really sort of feel like you're there with this thing going on. But they're going in there and, you know, walking through the building, and things go really bad when they're there. They basically, things get real turned around. They start hearing things, and the thing basically becomes like a labyrinth. They don't know how to get out of the place. And I don't want to give away any details about what they see or what happens, but, you know, if you want to, I don't know if everybody else is going to be creeped out like I was, but I found it to be scary. I really did. I remember it, too. It was reminding me of a time when I was a kid, and I went to this, I was at camp, and I never knew where this area was. But there was a building that was like this weird, I don't know if they put haunted house things in it, but it was this real big, like, low building, one level. I remember going in it and scared shitless. And I remember, you know, they also filming the Sasquatch Assault movie in the haunted house. It reminded me, in the jail. And I got scared shitless in there because they heard things. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about ghosts or anything like that, but this is very creepy, very, very well done, and, you know, definitely one to check out. Now, the next one I got is a movie that I've liked a long time, and it's Papillon. I think that's how you say it. And, you know, I don't know the whole story about the jail systems and exactly how they ended up in jails like this. You know, I guess I didn't, you know, pay too much attention in school. But I don't know all that. But it's basically about Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman's characters, and they're put in this really horrible jail situation. And it's, you know, I don't know how long they're put away for, technically, if it's for life. But Steve McQueen's character really, you know, wants to break out of this place. He wants to get out. And if you end up breaking out of this place, you end up, and you get caught, you end up in basically total darkness, or like the hole, whatever they call it, for like 3 years. The second time it's like, I think it's 2 years the first time, something like that. But it's basically about them really wanting to break out of this place and trying to come up with different plans and things like that. I don't know, it's a really good movie. I don't know. I always liked it. Now, the next one, I had to import this from England. And luckily enough, it's region-free. I had to look into that. I was going to import the Mother's Day one as well, but that's not region-free. But it's, Lucky McGee, who did May, which I really love May. He also did Sick Girl for Massive Horror, which I think was one of the best. That and the vampire one, with the guy who played Alan Strange, was two of my favorite ones. But The Woman is technically a follow-up to The Offspring. A lot of people didn't like The Offspring. I liked it. I don't know. I thought it was good. The Offspring, though, as I remember, because I only watched it once, as I remember, it was a little silly in some parts, and some of the actors, especially I think a cop or something. I remember him being kind of weird because everybody else was doing good, and he was sort of silly or something. I remember something like that with it. This is really well acted. It's Pollyanna McIntosh, who was in the first movie, is in this as well. But it's basically about she's basically living out in the wilderness, and it's kind of like a cave woman almost, but modern day. And there's a family that's lives nearby, and the one husband is out hunting and ends up spotting her, and basically becomes obsessed with her. And he makes a plan to trap her and put her in the basement and keep her there. And he tells his family that he's trying to change her to, that people shouldn't be like that. People shouldn't live out in the wilderness like that. His plan is he's a deviant. And, he doesn't care about any of that. But basically it's all these things going on with him and the family. And it shows you that, she's, people would see her, the woman character, as someone bad, but it's more the family and the father. I don't know, it's really, really well done. Definitely one to check out. I really like this a lot. It's very, it's very graphic, and a lot of people might not be able to take it, but it's very, very well done. And the next one I got, now a lot of people are going to say, so I'm just making sure I'm lined up, a lot of people are going to say, why did you get this? And you know what? I watch all the Hellraiser movies. I bought the first two to rewatch again because I haven't seen them in years. I only had the old tin of them. But it's the new Hellraiser Revelations film. Now, one thing though from the trailer, a lot of people think the whole movie was shot like Cloverfield, like a found footage thing. And that's not really how it was. The beginning was like that. It's about these two kids that decide to go to Mexico, leave their family behind, and they're basically, something happens and they decide to just say fuck everything and leave. And, then it cuts to, they end up getting the Hellraiser Pinhead box. I don't know the specific name of it, but they end up getting the box, and then it cuts to the mom watching the tape, and it's kind of all over the place. That stuff wasn't any good. The best stuff in the movie, which was, I thought, pretty well acted for a really low-budget movie, and this was really done cheap. I read somewhere it was, done for, $100,000 or something, which is kind of insane for a movie like this, which would normally be a couple million. But, the effects were pretty well done. They didn't get Doug Bradley. The guy who plays Pinhead isn't that great. And this cover looks like he's taking a Duke. That's the one thing. He looks like he's squeezing out a mean sheet, That's the one thing about this was kind of a weird thing. And I heard somewhere that they said Dimension was only making this to keep the rights or something. I don't know if that's right. That's what everyone was posting around. But the best stuff, though, is with the one when the son comes back and he's screaming at the parents and stuff. That's the best stuff. I thought it was pretty well done. I don't know. It was, it's definitely out of 5 stars, it's a 1.5 star movie, maybe. But it's actually kind of worth watching. It's not horrible. It's got the trailer has an awful rating on YouTube. But it's really not horrible. If you look at it as something else, kind of the way you look at Halloween 3, it's okay. Then I got the first 2 Hellraiser films to rewatch again. And, the first movie is the best one, I think. The second one was cool. Kind of reminded me a little bit more of a Freddy Krueger thing, Sucked Into the World. A little bit more like that kind of a vibe. This one, though, I really liked it. I liked the guy who plays his father. It was creepy. I don't know. Not too much to say. And I will say, though, as a child, I saw those movies when I was, probably 11, something like that. They creeped me out so bad. I don't think I've watched those movies again till, now. The next one I got was Clerks. It was on sale, I think, for $8, something like that. And I mainly got it because it has, which I didn't even notice that it had this until now, an exclusive documentary on the making of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which, I just recently watched that and I thought, oh, that'd be kind of cool. It's like an hour and a half. It's a pretty cool documentary. It actually, it's not put together super well, but it shows more of what I like to see on those kind of movies. It's more almost like just like a video blog, just showing what they're doing and things like that. I like that. I wish more movies would put stuff like that rather than real put together real quick scenes. This would actually show like 10 minutes of them shooting a scene and no cuts, just sort of like one take. I like that kind of stuff. Now this one, I've had this for a while and finally watched it, and I don't know about this. And it was Yellow Brick Road, and I don't know. The whole time I was watching it, I was kind of like, why am I still watching this? It's about, like, the movie, like, I think in the 30s or something, in the movie, it's about, like, a group of, like, a whole town that left and walked up this trail and, like, all disappeared and died on it or something. So it's about a group of, like, researchers or something that are trying to see where the Yellow Brick Road or the trail leads to. And I don't know. Like, the whole time they're hearing weird music, and it's basically like a record. It's scratching the whole time. I don't know. It really was kind of bad. And the next one I got, and this was for sale for either $5.99 or $7, something like that, or $6.99. And I've wanted to have this for a while, and it's Dr. Giggles, which I always loved Dr. Giggles. Oh, and Otis, which was a fun movie. It really wasn't amazing, but I liked it. I did not pay $22. But yeah, Dr. Giggles was before only available in that Twisted Terror set. Hopefully they put more of those sets like Deadly Friend and stuff like that on Blu-ray. The next one I got was Bad Teacher, and I've talked about this before, and I think a family review. But it's, Cameron Diaz is this teacher at school who teaches these kids, and she hates her job, and she's like always playing them movies and stuff. I actually had teachers like that would just play movies and didn't really want to do anything. It was one teacher too who knew she was getting fired, and she knew early on, so she was like, didn't give a shit. It was a little bit like that. But it's her, and she's trying to, basically, Justin Timberlake plays a substitute teacher, which you couldn't really see him doing that. That kind of, he didn't do a bad job acting, but he's too good looking and stuff to be like a substitute teacher. That was the weird part of it. But, she basically thinks that he has a lot of money, so she thinks that she can end up kind of living off of him. So she's doing everything she can to get his attention and to try and be with him. The next one I got is Zombie, which just came out. Now, I can't explain this too well. I always confuse this with all the other ones. This is the best one, though. But because the sequels had all these different scenes with hotels, and I can never remember exactly what happens with this. I think it was about the group of researchers that go to an island, and the zombies are there. But it's really well done in that scene with the shark. I just can't explain it because I confuse it with the third and the fourth one. I don't know why. I always mix them up. And these ones I just got, just some older titles. Ladybugs, which I've wanted to buy this for a long time on Blu-ray. And this is one of my favorite Rodney Dangerfield movies. And he basically has to coach his, where he works, the office he works at, he's coached the girls' soccer team in hopes of getting a promotion. And their soccer team is horrible, so he ends up having his, the woman he's dating's son help. And he ends up putting him in drag and, helping him coach the team. And, this is such a funny movie. I always feel, upset when I watch it because of Jonathan Brandis, who killed himself years later. And it was always depressing, you know what I mean? It's always really sad when you hear that an actor does that. And I got The Crow, and I got Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I think, then this is, I never really watched the show, but I liked the movie with Christy Swanson. And then I got Red Planet was another one for, I think, $7. And Cat Dog Season 1, Part 2, which is more for my brother because he liked this, but I just bought it. But, I explained the ones that I really wanted to talk to in this. Anyway, though, I have some more stuff I bought, but I'm waiting until I watch that. Anyway, though, thanks a lot for watching, for subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.